Hi, I'm Sydney. 3 months ago, I was leading marketing at a tech startup until our funding dried up. Now I'm headed to my parents' Thanksgiving dinner with nothing but cheap wine and the smell of failure. I sat in my car giving myself a pep talk. Don't let Vanessa get to you. My sister had always been the successful one. The driveway was full of cars. I was last to arrive. Pushing open the front door, I heard my sister's voice ring out. Well, well, the loser has finally arrived. My mother's face showed pity mixed with disappointment. My father pretended to be interested in his drink. Vanessa stood at the head of the table, her manicured hand on her husband's shoulder. We were just talking about Marcus's big promotion, but I'm sure you've got something going on too, right, Sydney? Marcus smirked. Still at that little app company? Actually, we had to close down. Investor issues. Oh no! Vanessa gasped dramatically. Another one? That's what, the third job in 2 years? Second, I corrected. And it wasn't my fault the company— Girls, please, Mom interrupted. It's Thanksgiving. Sydney, there's a place next to Grandma. I sat beside my grandmother, who squeezed my hand sympathetically. Across from me sat a man I didn't recognize. I don't think we've met. I'm Greg. I work with Marcus. His boss, actually, Marcus added quickly. Greg's the SVP of operations. Throughout dinner, Vanessa dominated the conversation. They're practically grooming him for executive leadership, she bragged. His team had the highest performance metrics this quarter. Interesting, Greg said, turning to me. So, what was your app company doing, Sydney? Before I could answer, Vanessa cut in. Oh, it was one of those silly social media things. Actually, we were developing predictive analytics for supply chain optimization before our investor pulled out. Greg's eyebrows raised. That's exactly the kind of solution we've been looking to implement. Don't waste your time, Marcus laughed. If her company failed, the tech couldn't have been that good. The tech was solid, I insisted. Our investor had personal problems. For several minutes, Greg asked thoughtful questions while Vanessa grew visibly irritated. Marcus kept trying to redirect the conversation. Later, Vanessa cornered me by the coffee pot. What do you think you're doing? Greg is Marcus's boss, not your networking opportunity. He asked questions. I answered them. Just stay in your lane. You're the family screw-up, remember? As I was leaving, Greg approached me in the hallway. That was fascinating about your predictive models. We're looking to fill a director position in our innovation department. He slipped a business card into my hand. Call me next week if you're interested. I stared at the card long after his car disappeared down the street. 3 weeks of job hunting with 0 callbacks had me questioning everything when my phone rang with an unknown number. Sydney speaking. It's Greg Thompson from Meridian Tech. We met at your Thanksgiving dinner. My heart skipped. I'd almost convinced myself his interest was just holiday politeness. That predictive analytics system you developed? We need something similar. Would you be interested in interviewing for our Director of Innovation position? 2 days later, I was sitting in Meridian Tech's glass-walled conference room. The HR director slid a packet across the table. These requirements for the position? Marcus Chen will be your primary contact during onboarding. I nearly choked. Marcus Chen? As in, our VP of Product Development. Do you know him? He's my brother-in-law. Her eyebrows shot up. Does he know you're interviewing? No, and I'd prefer to keep it that way. After acing the technical interview, Greg took me on a tour. We passed developers huddled around a whiteboard. That's Marcus's team. They've been working weekends to fix implementation issues. A woman glanced up. Oh, hi, Greg. Are you here about the bug reports? Not today, Angela. This is Sydney, interviewing for the Innovation Director role. Angela's face brightened. Thank God. We've been drowning since Rajiv left. Later, in Greg's office, I got the real story. Rajiv developed our forecasting system. Marcus took credit for it, then pushed changes that destabilized the platform. When Rajiv objected, Marcus had him transferred until he quit. And you kept Marcus on? Greg sighed. Politics. His numbers look good on paper, and he's buddies with our COO. Christmas Eve came with no job news. At my parents' house, Vanessa was relentless. Still unemployed, Sydney? There's no shame in retail work. I'm exploring options. Well, Marcus just got approval to expand his team. Maybe he could find you something entry-level. I bit my tongue. How generous. It would be. Marcus only hires the best, but I'm sure he could make an exception for family. Mom passed the potatoes. Vanessa, don't tease your sister. I'm helping. Sydney needs to accept that not everyone can be successful. The next day, Greg called. We'd like to make you an offer. Senior Director of Innovation Strategy, reporting directly to me. I almost dropped the phone. Senior Director? Your interview impressed everyone. Your prototype outperformed our current system by 23%. What about Marcus? He'll remain VP of Product Development. You'll be parallel in the org chart, but your department will oversee implementation standards. His team will need your approval on major initiatives. So I'd be his equal, technically, though your team will have veto power over product decisions. I pictured Vanessa's face when she found out. When do I start? January 2nd. We haven't announced it internally yet, so you might want to keep it quiet. Don't worry, I'm great at keeping secrets. My first day at Meridian Tech, Angela spotted me in the lobby. You actually took the job? Brave woman. Let me show you your office before Marcus realizes you're here. I was arranging my desk when the door swung open without a knock. What the hell is this? Marcus stood there, face flushed. Why are you in Rajiv's old office? Good morning to you too, brother-in-law. I'm the new Senior Director of Innovation Strategy. Since when? Since Greg offered me the position last week. That's impossible. I would have been consulted about any director-level hire. Senior Director, actually, and you weren't part of this particular decision process. We'll see about that. He stormed out, slamming the door. Within a week, I'd built alliances across the company. I called Angela to my office. Who else is fed up with how Marcus runs things? Half the engineering department. Start with Rajiv's old team, Tyler, Kim, and Zach. They're still bitter about how Marcus stole credit for their work. At a team meeting, Marcus tried throwing me under the bus. The Q1 forecasts are delayed because Sydney's team hasn't delivered their components. I pulled up the project tracker. Actually, my team completed our deliverables last Thursday. We're waiting on your team's API documentation, which was due Monday. Tyler backed me up. We can't finalize integration without those specs, Marcus. That Sunday, Vanessa was still clueless about the workplace drama. Marcus says his company hired some new director who's making everyone's life difficult, completely unqualified. I sipped my coffee. That's unfortunate. He says she's only there because she's friends with his boss. Classic failing upward. Back at work, I discovered discrepancies in Marcus's performance reports. I pulled Tyler aside. These customer satisfaction metrics show 94% approval, but the raw data shows only 68%. What am I missing? Tyler glanced around nervously. He has us filter out outlier responses before reporting. Outliers meaning anything below 4 stars gets discarded as user error. I documented everything. During the executive presentation, Marcus showed impressive growth charts. My department has achieved 27% improvement in customer satisfaction and 32% faster implementation times. When my turn came, I connected my laptop. Before I present my results, I'd like to address a discrepancy in the metrics we just saw. Marcus interrupted. We don't have time for a methodology debate. Greg frowned. Let Sydney finish, please. I displayed the raw data alongside Marcus's reports. The improvement claims are based on selectively filtered data. When we include all feedback, satisfaction actually dropped 12% under Marcus's leadership. The room went silent. Marcus's face turned crimson. This is a deliberate attack. Sydney has had it out for me because of personal family issues. Greg raised an eyebrow. Family issues? She's my sister-in-law, and she's always been jealous of my success. After the meeting, Greg called us both to his office. Sydney, where did you get this data? Directly from our customer feedback system. I can show you the query parameters. Greg nodded. Do that. Marcus, I expect your explanation by tomorrow. As Marcus stormed out, Greg asked me to stay. The board is meeting next week to discuss leadership restructuring. These revelations about data manipulation will factor heavily into their decisions. What kind of restructuring? The kind that creates new positions at the top and eliminates others. The email from Greg landed in my inbox. Board presentation tomorrow, 9 a.m. Prepare to discuss company-wide implementation of your forecasting system. Marcus stormed into my office without knocking. What's this about you presenting to the board? The board requested my presence specifically. Back off now, or I'll make sure Vanessa knows exactly how you've been sabotaging her husband's career. That evening, my phone buzzed with a text from Mom. Dinner at Vanessa's tonight, 7 p.m. I arrived at Vanessa's McMansion 15 minutes late. Finally, the workaholic arrives. Vanessa raised her wine glass. Let's all congratulate Sydney on her new job working for Marcus. Must be nice having family connections, Mom said, passing the salad. Speaking of fortunate, Vanessa continued, Marcus is presenting to the board tomorrow. They're considering him for the executive leadership team. I'm actually presenting to the board tomorrow, too. Vanessa nearly choked on her wine. You? Why would you be presenting to the board? They're interested in my forecasting system. The next morning, I arrived early to the boardroom. Greg met me at the door. Ready for this? The entire executive team will be here, plus the founder. James Meridian? I thought he was semi-retired. He's particularly interested in your forecasting system. I presented confidently, showing how my team had improved prediction accuracy by 47%. When I finished, James Meridian leaned forward. Impressive work. How quickly could this be implemented across all product lines? With proper resources, 3 months, Marcus interjected. My department would need to evaluate if this aligns with our architecture. It could take much longer. Marcus fumbled through his presentation, contradicting himself when questioned about performance metrics. Those were isolated methodology issues. My team has been under unprecedented pressure. James wasn't having it. Pressure doesn't explain systematic misrepresentation of customer satisfaction. After deliberation, Greg announced their decision. Sydney's forecasting system will become our company-wide standard, effective immediately. Also, we're restructuring leadership. Sydney will become our new Chief Innovation Officer. And Marcus? Marcus will transition to Senior Project Manager under the new CIO. Marcus's face went pale. This is nepotism. She's my sister-in-law. James spoke up. The board determined it wasn't relevant, given the performance discrepancies and documented pattern of taking credit for others' work. That Sunday, my parents hosted a celebratory dinner. Vanessa looked confused when she saw the congratulations banner. What's the occasion? Sydney's promotion. We're so proud. Oh, a promotion? To what, senior developer? Chief Innovation Officer, Dad announced. Our daughter's a C-level executive. Vanessa's smile froze. That can't be right. Marcus is up for executive leadership. All eyes turned to Marcus. Marcus? Vanessa prompted. Tell them they've misunderstood. I've been reassigned. I report to Sydney now. Vanessa looked from Marcus to me, her facade cracking. You did this on purpose. You stole his position. No, Vanessa. I earned my position, while Marcus lost his through his own actions. This is temporary, Vanessa insisted. Marcus will appeal. There's no appeal. They have documentation of everything. As Vanessa turned to leave, I stepped in front of her. Remember Thanksgiving when you announced the loser has arrived? I've been waiting to tell you. I raised my glass. The CEO has arrived. What would you have done if you were in Sydney's position? Would you have exposed Marcus immediately after discovering his deception? Or would you have gathered evidence strategically like Sydney did? Some might say Sydney was ruthless by not warning her sister about what was coming. Others might argue Vanessa deserved to face the consequences of her years of cruelty without warning. Where do you stand? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this revenge story of professional triumph over toxic family members, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of justice served. Let me know what type of revenge story you'd like to hear next.